Sahana vavatu Sahanao bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Chapter 5 of the Gita, Karma Sannyasa Yoga, the yoga of renunciation of action, which actually means renunciation in action, right? We've been talking about that. That little word makes all the difference. You have to act, but there should be a renunciation of the ego and egocentric desires while acting. That's all it boils down to. So, if you reach the pinnacle through this process, you become completely self-sufficient. See, once you realize the self, you reach the state of paripurna, means you're completely, totally, infinitely full of happiness. That's what he says in the 13th verse. Mentally renouncing all actions and self-control, the embodied rests happily in the city of 9 gates. I told you, it's poetry from the Upanishads. The city of 9 gates refers to the body with its 9 openings into the world. And the story is you are constantly fighting invasion of these 9 gates, means the world and the constant decay, disease, agitation, and ultimately the world wins. Is death. So you have to learn to go beyond the limitations of the body. That is enlightenment. That's what he says. So once you have that supreme happiness within, you don't have that craving to cause others to behave the way you want. That's what he says. You don't need to act because you don't have desires, nor do you have an expectation from others. Any expectation, any desire is because you are unfulfilled. You are unhappy within, so you need to get something from outside to fill you. So imagine a state where you're fully satisfied within. You don't need anything. That is enlightenment. That is Vedanta. So that's where we stopped last week. This is the portion, the state of supreme being from 13 to 19. So any questions so far, what we've covered, before we move on to the 14th verse, where he talks about the state. All clear so far?
न कर्तृत्वं न कर्माणि लोकस्य सृजति प्रभुः न कर्मफलसंयोगं स्वभावस्तु प्रवर्तते
the Lord creates neither doership nor action nor union with the fruit of action for the world, but nature manifests itself. So here in the 14th verse, he refers to the self, the consciousness, the enlivening principle within you. So there are two ways to look at God, self. One is the enlivening principle within you, and one is the all pervading reality which pervades everywhere. It's one and the same thing. See, it's like sunlight is all pervading. But where the sunlight hits a mirror, there's a reflected sun. You don't see reflected suns everywhere. Only where it hits a mirror, right? Similarly, Atman is everywhere. In fact, he calls it in the next verse, Vibhu. Vi means to pervade, Bhu to be. So, Prabhu is, Pra means the supreme, Bhu being, supreme being within. So these are all various ways they refer to it to help you analyze and understand how this whole thing functions. So what he's saying here is the consciousness within is a pure witness. It doesn't have anything to do with your action. Your action depends upon your nature. That's what he says. Swabhava pravartate. So what's the best example which we often quote of fuel in a car, right? The fuel in all cars is the same. It has nothing to do with where the car is going or not, but the nature of the engine manifests itself. So if it's a beautiful sports car, you press the accelerator, you're gone. If it's a old rickety car, how much ever you press, it goes few feet. Nature's manifesting itself. So the engine of the car is, what is the engine? Your mind intellect. That is the engine, the nature. That will manifest itself. Atman in the world's Nobel winning scientist is the same as an ordinary scientist. But it's their nature. Everybody is not Einstein, right? Manifests itself. So you have to understand that, because the whole misconception is God is responsible. God is not responsible other than universally enabling everybody. But each person is individually responsible. It's your life. Nature manifests itself. So it creates neither doership nor action nor the fruit of action. What comes out of the action? If there's an accident, the petrol is not responsible. There's a safe arrival, petrol is not responsible. Fruit of action. That depends on the driver. So throughout the Gita, he puts this in because the general concept is God will take care of it. You just pray and he takes care of everything. No such thing. Wrong. Nature manifests itself. So how do you practically apply this? Nature will manifest itself. How do you practically apply this in your life? I'm asking. Vasu?
Gautamji, as you always say, assessments or A will be A, B will be B, so you're not agitated.
You're not agitated. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. I didn't say. Swamiji said that.
Yeah.
A will be A. B will be B. My wife will be my wife. Nature will manifest itself. A nagging person will nag. Hot-tempered person will get angry. Egoistic person will be arrogant. Why are you disturbed? You are disturbed because you don't understand the simple truth. You want people to behave according to your nature, not what their nature is. If you really analyze, that is the root cause of all the suffering. Why we have such problems with our relationships, all relationships. So, I've told you repeatedly, you will be happy if you look at the world as it is, not how you want it to be. You'll say you're right, and again go back and fight with your spouse. Nothing registers because it's so strong. You should behave as I want you to behave. So you complain about your family, your spouse, your community, your neighbors, your politics, your country, the world. Everything is a complaint. The world should function how I want it to function. It doesn't work like that. So what you have in your control is your choice of action. You do what you can. And the most productive use of that gift is to change yourself. Because people change when they want to change. So if you want to change, you can change. You can't make others change. If they don't want to change. If they come and ask you, definitely help them. First, you need help. What are you going to help them? All wrong advice. So what did these great masters do? If you look at human history, great saints, they only changed themselves. They didn't start with trying to change others. And once they changed themselves, people themselves came to them to ask how to change them. That's how it works. See, you want to give money first, you should have it, no? How can you give money if you're a pauper? It's like that. How can you give advice? How can you help? How can you give knowledge when you yourself are in ignorance? Nature manifests itself. Just an innocuous line. Swabhava tu pravartate. Atman, Lord, Prabhu has nothing to do with it. Neither action, nor the quality of action, nor the result of action. Nothing. So why this is under Supreme Being is, if you are spiritual, that's how you become. You are detached. You do what you ought to do. There is no expectation from others to do anything. That's why he brought it in. Others want help, you give it. They don't want help, you move on. Now, why do you impose? I want to help you. Yeah, that itself is ego. When they don't want your help. What to do? I want to help others. As soon as they see me, they run for their lives. Obviously, you're not helping them, you're disturbing them. Arun,
it's a very it's one thing when you talk about friends, but when it comes to your own loved ones, when you see somebody destroying themselves, whether it's drugs or alcohol or whatever it is, at that point in time to say, nature will assert itself, I'll do what I can. I mean, you've got to be really cold. I mean, it's not something that personally I don't think I can do it. So
No, you've
So
tried.
what?
No, you've tried all what you can do. In spite of that, or probably because of that, they're drinking. Hmm. Now, what do you have to say to that? All the love you gave to your children all these years and all, and he ends up in alcoholic. Why? Why don't you analyze that? So I'm not saying you should not love them or care for them. What do you know about helping people when you yourself are in the dumps? So yes, if they have asked for help, if they are ready to receive help, of course help them. If they don't want your help, they could be your children. What can you do? Adult children, and they don't want your help, right? In fact, you can't do anything. You do something, they'll call the police on you. This fellow is harassing me. How many people have done that? You know that? Hmm. So you can, I've told you, knowledge is taken, it's not given. You can only help somebody if they want to be helped. So you must put yourself in a position where the other person wants help from you. Now, because you have constantly lectured to them all their life, they are repulsed by you. All the children are repulsed by the parents because they're constantly giving unsought advice. So they have shut themselves off. So even if you want to help them, be quiet. They will come to you. They know you are their well-wisher. But the moment you try and unload your advice on them unsought, I'm not saying you should not help. And this is a specific thing. It's not like your 3-year-old child. Suppose you have a 3-year-old who's eating mud in the garden. You said they should come for help. We're not talking about that. They're not capable of thinking for them. So you have to take care of them, young children. We're talking about when the children have their own thinking. If you constantly lecture to them, they will run away from it. It has the opposite effect. So you're not being cold, but you should do whatever you can. Beyond that, it's not your responsibility. Suppose they don't want your help. What do you do? So many relationships have been repaired. You're not the first one. When I've told them, you work on yourself and stop trying to give them advice, they will come. And the more you try before that, the more you will push them away. This is a law. So it's difficult in the beginning, but you got to be a little patient. The less you try and impose yourself, the more you make yourself attractive. See, this is what he says in the Gita. This is not my thoughts. You're reading the Gita, right? What does he say in the third verse, the third chapter? Na buddhi bedam janayet ajnanam karma sanginam. Do not unsettle the minds of the ignorant who are attached to action. They are attached to their own way of life. Don't try and unsettle their minds by giving lectures. Then what should you do? Joshayet sarva karmani vidvan yukta samachara. Joshayet, make your own life attractive. That's a vidvan. Why? By gaining wisdom. So they are suffering from an addiction. They know you are addicted to your money and your friends and your indulgences. What authority do you have to give lectures to them? But they know you are a person who's free from weakness, any weakness. They will come to you. I don't see you succumbing to all these kinds of things which all your friends are doing. You have an authority. Manjula?
Hari Om Gautamji. My question is the way he phrased it, it almost seems like it's impossible to change your nature. So even however much knowledge and we gain or we try to do our best, will we still always have a tendency to relapse back to how we were?
No, he's talking at a particular point of time. See, today, whatever your nature is, you will manifest, right?
Mm.
Now, if you're putting in effort to change your nature, it will change at some point in the future. Otherwise, why are you learning all this? It's to change your nature only, right? It's to destroy your egocentric desires. That's the whole purpose of Vedanta. Of course, you can change your nature. Only a human being can, no animal can. But till the nature changes, even if you're putting effort, till you overcome that weakness, it will come. You must understand that. So he's talking at a particular point. And now you're talking about you changing nature. He's talking about at any point, people will behave according to their nature. And if they're not putting in effort to change, it will be constant. They will never change. Now you are putting in another factor. With knowledge, I want to change. Yes, of course you will change, but it will take time.
Okay. Thank you, Gautamji.
So I often give this tip to the spouses. Why I bring this in is because one person is interested, other isn't. And then they have to hear all these taunts, from the other spouse. What Vedanta you're learning? Still you get angry all the time. So you must say, till my vasanas change, I will get angry. So deal with it. Correct? And if they never change, I'll always get angry. So you keep quiet. Which is true. So nobody knows what they're saying. Learning means what? I tell him you've learnt all about nutrition, means you're eating healthy. Till that knowledge goes within, you will eat unhealthy. I've learnt all nutrition. This is unhealthy. You knew that 40 years ago, what the food is unhealthy. You stopped eating it. It's not knowledge. It is when the knowledge becomes a part of you. That's called wisdom. You're living it. That takes time. It's not just learning A, B, C, D. And the stronger the desire, the longer the knowledge will take to convert to wisdom. That's it. Take it or leave it. So you think those who've put in effort and got to the highest stages are overnight over. It's a lifetime of dedication to change the whole thing you came with. Yes, Francia?
Thank you, Gautamji. The example you gave of the engine of the car being our mind, intellect, and our nature, and gas as being God or the supreme.
Yeah.
Who's the driver? What would the driver be?
Every example has a limitation, right? So what we are trying to convey in that example is, even though the gas is the same, the performance is different. So we are equating it to the engine. But the driver is again the mind intellect only. Nothing different. You understand? In one context we say engine, another context we say driver. Like when we say the car meets with an accident. It's actually not to do with the engine, it's the driver, right? So it depends how you're using that example. So body is the car, the body of the car. The physical frame is the physical body. The internal body is the engine, the mind intellect, and the driver. Driver is you, the individual. So you can equate it like that loosely. Got it? You can put engine as the mind, driver as the intellect. You can put that because the driver steers the engine, right? Through the steering wheel. That's your intellect. So it's all one unit. the engine, the steering wheel, and the driver. That's your internal organs, the mind, intellect, ego, all that put together. The body is the physical frame, the physical construction of the car, the shell, and the gas, the fuel is the Atman, the consciousness. That's the overall way to understand it. Now, what does fuel have to do with where you're going, how you're going, when you're going, whether you go or not, whether you meet with an accident or not, how fast you go, how slow you go? All that is Prakriti, nature. Mahesh?
Hariom Gautamji, should the takeaway then be that we are acting at any given point in time based on our nature, exercising our own free will as we are acting, but the action itself depends on the composition of our nature, which is the sattva, rajas, tamas? Is that the way to understand this?
Yes, the current state of your body, mind, intellect is your gunas, what you are saying, sattva, rajas, tamas, the combination of your personality, the culmination, right? And you also have free will, which is to choose which aspect of your nature to go along with. So, like Shakespeare says, it is one thing to be tempted, another to fall. So, you may have a temptation which comes in, but do you decide to go along with it or not? That is free will. So, you have a tremendous desire. You know, the doctor has said that you can't eat junk food, your health is in a bad shape, but a tremendous desire comes. One person succumbs to it and suffers more. Another person says no. That is free will. To go along with it or not. And the effect of your choices will determine your future nature. So suppose you don't go along with that desire to eat junk consistently, that desire itself will drop away, will become weaker and weaker. That is what I was saying to the other questioner, that you can change yourself. Animals cannot. Animal has an impulse. A tiger sees a deer, it will go for it to rip it apart. It can't say why. It's a little kid deer. Let it live little more. No? I have lived so long. Let it also live little. It can't. Whatever the impulse is, it goes.
Thank you, Gautam.
That's the difference. Saurabh?
Yeah, Hariom Gautamji. So my question related to knowledge converting into wisdom you talk about. So is this related to, so we talked about intellect and mind. I'm trying to understand in that sense. So let's say intellect fully convinced about something, but mind has still that desires goes back again and again.
Right.
So that means it has not converted into the wisdom. These mind need to be fully controlled in order to convert the knowledge into wisdom. Is that true?
Yes, in the sense the intellect understands something, but the mind's desire is more powerful. So the mind goes, even though you understand, right? Like I was giving the example, you understand you should not eat junk, but when you see it in a restaurant, your mind is too strong, you order it and you eat it, even though you understand you should not, right? So that understanding is not yet powerful enough to control the mind. So that intellect becomes stronger only through more exercise, which is reflection, study, contemplation. That's why every morning you have to work on building your intellect through this study. There's no other way. You can try anything else you want, it will not work. You have to build your intellect through more and more understanding, depth of understanding. You get it? And one day you'll find, if you strengthen it, that when that desire comes, you're easily able to say, no, nothing doing. And you choose the healthier option. You get it? But till that happens, you will succumb to the mind. So till that time, it's best not to go to a place where the junk food is available. If you want to really protect yourself. That's why the environment is important. You understand?
Got it. So in this case, the intellect is getting stronger and stronger, where desire or mind might remain as the same.
They are both relative. When you say strong intellect, it means weak mind, and vice versa. Intellect is getting stronger at the expense of what? At the expense of the mind, no. Intellect is thought flow, mind is thought flow. One gets stronger at the expense of the other. My intellect is getting stronger, my desires are also getting equally stronger. Then what are you doing then? You're exactly remaining exactly where you are. You understand? You got to think.
I have a question.
Mm.
Gautamji, you said it takes a long time, right, for vasanas to drop and for wisdom to be collected.
Right.
Is that process accelerated at all when certain incidents happen? Like, for instance, the egotistical fast runner meets with a road accident, loses his legs. Is there a process of contemplation and, adopting this path suddenly? Because that person perhaps lived an egotistical life, and now this incident has happened.
So could this process of wisdom, you're saying, be accelerated through a personal incident that happens to you? Yes, it could, but not necessarily. It could if you use it wisely, right? If you have an intellect and you use experiences wisely, it can accelerate. But the same experience you can use negatively also. See, a person is going through difficulties, who's learning this knowledge. I tell them, look, you must understand this is a message coming from somewhere. That happiness is not in the world. These are real life examples happening to you. So you can use that wisely, or you can use it negatively. What is this Vedanta? I have learned so much and still think bad things happen to me. Oh, I have nothing to do with it. Whatever time is remaining, let me go. Or to all the nightclubs I've never went. Let me fulfill my bucket list. Bucket. I want to see that bucket for everybody and hit them on the head with it. Take that bucket and drown you with it. Bucket. Buy a bucket. So all kinds of mad people were telling me what can happen. Depends how you use it. You can either drown in the bucket or use it for a shower. Now it depends on how you use it, right? So I'm not joking. So if a negative situation comes, you must understand. See, that's the significance of the Draupadī, Vastra Haraṇa, the disrobing of Draupadī. They say, what a horrible incident in the Mahabharata. Why they have to put such horrible things? No, they're trying to convey a point. See, Draupadī had an ego. And because she had an ego that she was married to 5 of the most powerful people of those days, she had a big fat ego developed. So in fact, when Duryodhana came to her palace, and the palace was so perfectly built that he thought that the marble flow, he thought it's marble is actually water. And he fell, right? And she laughed. And you see, why do you want to antagonize people? First of all of you should learn. You want to create jealousy and hatred in others to show off what you have. You don't know what's going to happen. They carry it. That's what happened. He said, I'll show you. One day I'll show you. And see how it came back. That's not the point. The point is she had that ego, that she is powerful. Husbands are the greatest warriors and she's got all the money in the world. Everybody develops it. There's nothing to do with Draupadī. It's a lesson for all of us. More you have, worse it is. Because you lose yourself completely. So, then what happened in that game of dice? She was given away. And then what happened? These fellows started disrobing her. So she looked at her husbands, right? And all of them were helpless because that's the rules. Now don't ask me what kind of rules these are. They're going to say, whatever, that is the story. And then she looked at the elders, Bhishma, Drona, they were helpless. And then she looked at the whole court and pleaded with them. How can you let this happen? They were helpless. And then finally, who did she think of? At the end, instead of at the beginning. So that's the story. That you, as long as you have any value for the world, you will be finished. You will be agitated, disturbed in life. So only when you surrender your ego completely, then you have ego about your own power. That is also there. So she tried to hold herself. That also didn't work. So that ego about me and my possessions and what I have, it's not going to help you. So that ego has to be completely dissolved. Then you get the benefaction of the divinity. That's the story. It is meant for the illiterates because nobody understands philosophy. Philosophically, what's the truth? As long as you have desires, ego and desires, you will suffer. So these knocks and shocks of life are just reminders of that. You must use that. Why are you depending on something which will be taken away? It's taken away earlier, you should be happy. It's a reminder. Why am I depending now? So shift your focus to the self. You understand? So if you take it positively, negative thing also becomes positive. Yes, it's a reminder. I'm assuming I'm going to live another 30 years. It's a shock. It can go tomorrow. I'm assuming my children, spouse will be there forever. Nothing like that. I know people whose spouse, children have literally dropped dead in front of them. The prime of youth. So you got to use that. That's a lesson. Positive also you should use. Okay, it's good now. That doesn't mean it's going to last. Something good happens unexpectedly. Okay, it's part of life. Something bad is around the corner, right? You don't have to expect it, but these are the lessons. But how you use it, you can't say, will that help? It could make it worse. It could help. It's how you use it.
The worse is that person will go into depression.
Yeah, the worst is how can this happen to me and why did this happen and whatever. And so it depends upon how you use it. So nothing to do with whether something is good or bad happening to you. It's all how you use it. Nothing bad happened to Buddha. He had everything in the world. But he understood it's temporary. I'm not going to waste my time. I've got to find the truth behind all this. Yes, sir.
So there is no such thing as come to Jesus moment?
There's no such thing as a spiritual moment you're asking. I'm saying it's how you make use of it, right? It could be. For some people, yes. But that same moment for others, it doesn't make any difference. So all I'm saying is that how it happens. So there are people who suddenly see, first of all, it's not that moment. All of you should understand. Whatever's happening outside is only provoking your subtle intellect. Subtle intellect is that thought that there is something beyond all this. An external incident can provoke it. So it manifests itself. It was lying dormant, right? Possible. But not necessarily. It could surface on its own without any particular external tragedy or comedy or good or bad. It could be a process of self-reflection. See, for me, I told you, I was 21. It was a process of self-reflection. I was getting all these job offers in Wall Street, the senior in college here in the US. And it started a process of questioning. Okay, so I'm going to get these jobs, I'll have a big house and a swimming pool and all that. So what? Is that what life is all about? There has to be something more to life, right? It wasn't like some tragic thing or something great happened. Nothing like that. It was so it depends. See, my guru says for him, he used to listen to these spiritual lectures because he used to accompany his father for spiritual lectures in Chennai. He was working like any of you are working in his 20s. Big job, he had been educated in England, came back to India, took up a very prestigious job. And as a casual interest, he was sitting and listening to spiritual lectures. He was interested, but not as a life mission. Like many of you started, yes, let's something interesting, let's go. And then he heard that mantra from Keno Upanishad. Iha cheda vedi atha satyamasti. Na chediha vedin mahati vinashti. If you have realized the truth in this life, then you have lived a truthful life. If not, what a mahati vinashti, nashti destruction, vinashti supreme destruction, mahati vinashti greatest supreme destruction. So suddenly that made a difference. What is he saying? If I have gained enlightenment here, alone I have lived a truthful life. If not, what a colossal destruction. What a waste of your time in this world. So that got him fully attuned. What is he saying? Why did he say that? Could be something like that. Now you read that Keno Upanishad verse, what's for dinner? Supreme destruction. That is what he's saying, supreme destruction, when he thinks of you only. So it doesn't register. Just a casual, yeah, it's very sad. We should realize the self, no? But children's first Diwali, second Diwali, so what does it register? So that's the moment you're talking about. But it depends on each person when, where in their life it comes. So that day somebody came here and they were saying, my God, this knowledge is so amazing. I can't tell you how it changed. Thank you. Every day I get some message. And I wish I knew this 25 years ago. My life would have been totally... Now, I didn't want to puncture his tire, as it were. He was so inspired and I don't want to burst the balloon of his devotion. So I didn't say at that time. Next time he'll come, I'll tell him. Anyway, he's going to get burst sooner or later. Right? So, and tell him 25 years ago you would not have reacted. You needed all these mistakes. He says, my life is a series of mistakes till now. I would have avoided everything. No, you needed to make all that mistakes, only then you woke up. So it doesn't work like that.
Why do you say that, Gautamji? You yourself
I know, I know you. Nothing would have gone in. Why do you say that? That is life. If you wanted it, you would have sought it. That's all. You didn't seek it because you were interested in something else. Just because now you're not interested in that person doesn't mean that time you want. What a colossal waste. 25 years running after this man. Now you understand. When you got engaged, you understood. What an angel come from the heaven. Now it's very transformed. So one husband wife was sitting. Why aren't you that same person you were 20 years ago? She's telling him. He's asking her, why aren't you that same person you were 20 years? This is a fight. For that they're fighting now, 20 years later. So love is blind, marriage an eye-opener. Right? Remember that. Why do you say that? I'm not saying, you are saying. Manjula, what else you have?
Hari Om Gautamji again. Going back to the Draupadī story, what does it actually mean by surrender there? What did she finally do at that?
Surrender means when you surrender your ego and egocentric desires to pursue the higher. That is the meaning of surrender. You are surrendering your ego and selfishness for something higher. That is the true meaning of surrender. So how does it manifest in the spiritual path is when you understand you are ignorant. You go and surrender to a guru who you believe knows more than you, right? It's like when you know you don't know medicine and you're having some health issue, you surrender to a doctor, right? Means in areas of your ignorance, you surrender your ignorance to gain knowledge from somebody else. Correct? So that feeling I don't know is surrender. And the pursuit of knowledge. That is true surrender.
Isn't that like giving up? You cannot do any more than that. You have done everything you can, you can't do any more.
Yes, you have given up, you understood you can't gain more knowledge on your own.
Yes.
So you have to go gain knowledge from somebody who knows.
Okay.
That is surrender.
Okay, thank
you. Shreyas?
Good morning, Gautamji. Seeking knowledge and exposure, right? Doesn't exposure to aspects like this. You were just giving that example of that individual who said 25 years and hey, I finally it took me 25 years, but wouldn't earlier exposure have helped? Is it wrong to think along these lines? Let me just try to state something. It's only the horse that drinks from the pond. You can take the horse to the pond. It's only the horse that drinks to the pond.
Right.
But if you take the horse to different ponds, they may figure out which pond is likely.
No, don't spoil the example with your interpretations. You understand? Okay. You can take a horse to water. You cannot make it drink. That is the point. Now maybe if you gave it lemonade, it will drink. One good thing is English literature, that also they want to spoil. You don't put your 2 bits everywhere. Understand the concept first. The point is, of course, you should expose people. Don't we say you must expose your children? Now, I'm having this lecture on November 9th, the law of karma. Haven't I told you all, you must do your best to expose it to people, right? So, of course, our whole goal is to expose it to people and knowledge. But out of 100 people you may expose it to, you don't know which person will react to the same exposure. That depends upon their maturity. So we are looking for people who have that maturity, who are looking for something higher in life, but they don't know where to go. So that's why exposure is very important. But what I was telling that man is, you, even if that fellow was exposed 25 years ago, he was too preoccupied, too attached, he would not have reacted. You understand? If you are genuinely wanting to learn, the exposure will come. 100% it will come. You're not genuine. It's simple supply and demand. You prepare yourself, a guru will come to you. You don't have to go. Trust me, it's like that. Automatically it will be there. See, like I said, I started thinking and all. My mother had put that Vedanta treatise book, right, which we study on Saturdays. First, the earlier editions, in my suitcase when I came to the US. She was very interested. To appease her, I put it. What a waste. And then when I got interested, it was lying there. And I said, that there's a book about it. So book was there for years. What happened? When you had that interest, it was there. You understand? So there's another saying, 10,000 horses cannot pull you towards the path. 10,000 horses cannot pull you away from the path. If you are interested, nobody can pull you away from it. Don't say what to do. My wife is like that. She doesn't let me come. And then you are not interested. Why are you blaming your wife and children and this? Nothing can take you away if you are interested. And if you are not interested, nothing can. You can have Krishna in your house. Trust me, you will not know. That's what happened to Arjuna. They're in their middle age. He didn't know who Krishna was. All his life, he didn't know. Only in the 10th, 11th chapter of the Gita, he says, "Forgive me. I never knew all this, my whole life what you were. When I was young, I may have insulted you. I may have hit you. We were playing. I apologize for all that I must have done." He didn't know. Because he wasn't interested. Krishna was Krishna all his life. "15.
नादत्ते कस्यचित् पापम् न चैव सुकृतं विभुः अज्ञानेनावृतं ज्ञानम् तेन मुह्यन्ति जन्तवः
The Lord accepts neither the sin nor even the virtue of anyone. Knowledge is veiled by ignorance and beings are thereby deluded." See, these are the most profound truths put so simply. Now you believe that by doing something virtuous, doing something spiritual, somebody up there is happy with you, unhappy with people who are doing bad things. There's no such. That's what he says. See, direct statements. Neither your sin nor your virtue. Lord means the consciousness is just the enlivening principle. Another example we've talked about is the sun above, equated to the sunlight. Sun. Now, what does the sun have to do? Whether if a terrorist is doing something or if a saint is doing something on earth, he's giving them both the power to function. Then why is all this going on? Knowledge is veiled by ignorance. The whole thing is just a play of ignorance. Beings are thereby deluded. So you are the self, you don't know you are the self, and out of that ignorance, I've told you, comes desires. And you innocently follow those desires. This is delusion. This is the cycle of madness. And if you make the wrong choices, you follow wrong desires. You make right choices, you follow the right. It is all up to you. It's just a play of ignorance. Why are you blaming or praising God? So each one has to do what they ought to do. It's not that you should accept unrighteousness. Fight it if you have to fight it. Nobody is saying no, but it's your choice. So this total world is the sum of the total choices of all of us. That's all it is. Well, God has been unkind or kind. So please understand that. See, just as your current physical state is the total effect of all the choices you have made, exercise, diet, movement, environment, all the choices you made from now backwards. So your body is the sum total of that. Same thing for everybody. So it's all just delusion, illusion, like we were studying in yesterday's class. In fact, now on next Saturday he talks about that. World is not created by God. World is God. In the sense, what you're seeing as the world, the underlying reality is God, consciousness. Out of ignorance, you're projecting an illusion and you're caught up in that. So these concepts, if they are not clear, which nobody knows, that's why all the superstitions, fanaticism, hatred, bloodshed in the name of religion. Can you believe this? All over the world. Beings are thereby deluded. One line. Tena muyyanti jantavaha. Janta. Muyya. Deluded. Right. So, as we discussed yesterday also, right? So, this is an opportunity on the 9th, which is 2 Sundays from today, at the same time of the Gita class. So, we won't be having the class that day. And another thing to remember, it's a different Zoom link. Don't log on to your usual link, which you log on to the weekly talks, because you'll see a blank screen. That's not law of karma. That's your karma. You understand? So if you've not registered, please register, because only then you'll be able to get that link. It's not going to be on the website. It's going to be a Zoom event. And forward this information to all your friends and even teenagers, youngsters. They will enjoy this as an introduction, right? So any questions, send them in. We'll take them on Wednesday. Otherwise, we'll meet on the weekend. Hari Om.